we can make this last segment of our video real short and sweet. Just 2 words, in fact, that I'm sure you've heard before.
Slow down! But in the real world, of course, things aren't that simple. Out here, you have to know how to control your speed and how to stay in control.
That's why this last part of our video is about speed management skills.
We're not talking about high-speed driving here. Speed management is all about what you know, not how fast you can go. It takes smarts and depends on knowing the road, letting other drivers know what you're doing, and knowing how to react in emergencies.
The first thing you need to know about speed management is this: stay in contact.
And it goes like this.
Your tires and those 4 small contact patches we talked about are all there is between your vehicle and the road, and anything that reduces that contact could send you skidding out of control. That's why reduced traction on the road surfaces require reduced speeds. Rain, snow, ice, oil slicks, even a heavy mist can make roads unsafe for normal speeds. And watch out for loose stuff too, like sand, gravel, dirt, or even leaves. You need solid contact between your vehicle and the road every minute you're at the wheel. So slow down on any kind of slippery road surface. And slow down when you see one of these too. They're not just roadside decorations. Highway designers put them up to tell you the safe speed for a bend or a twist in the road. In fact, whenever you see a speed sign, you can figure it's there for a good reason. Speed limits are based on road and traffic conditions. They're not just dreamed up. When the road changes, you'll see the speed limit change with it, and you should adjust your speed, up or down, to match the new condition. As we said before, you've got maximum control when you drive at a speed that doesn't impede the flow of traffic. And sometimes that means stepping it up on a high-speed roadway, but it never means breaking the speed limit. Just match your speed to the road conditions and move out of the way if you're on the road with speeders.
Now, let's talk about skids.
Most skids happen when your vehicle becomes unbalanced and your tires lose contact with the road. If you accelerate too fast into a turn, shifting the load onto your rear tires, the front tires can skid out of control. On the other hand, if you brake too late or too hard in a turn, shifting the load onto your front tires, the rear tires can skid out of control.
Obviously, the best way to handle any kind of skid is to avoid it, using the hazard recognition and vehicle handling skills we talked about.
Next best is to know what to do, so watch.
Skilled drivers use different techniques to recover from the 2 different kinds of skids. Here's how to recover control in a front wheel skid. First, stop doing whatever you did to cause the skid, whether it's accelerating too fast or steering too aggressively. Next, take your foot off the gas to reduce speed and to restore balance. Don't hit the brakes, since that could tip you out of balance the other way. Instead, just stay focused on where you want the vehicle to go and wait for the steering to return. This is the hard part, because you're probably panicked, but it should only take a fraction of a second, so just hold on. You'll know you've got steering again when you begin to feel that you're heading towards your target. Now gently turn the wheel to keep your vehicle heading in the right direction, and the emergency is over. But next time, remember to slow down. The technique for recovering control in a rear wheel skid depends on your vehicle's power drive. Here's what to do in a vehicle with rear wheel drive. First, stop doing whatever you did to cause the skid, whether it's braking too hard or steering too aggressively, and put both your feet on the floor. Now stay focused on where you want to go and turn the wheel smoothly in that direction. You might feel what's called a reaction skid, when the rear end swings back the other way. Just steer to keep the vehicle headed towards your target. Once your speed drops, you should feel the vehicle stabilize and be able to steer normally. The emergency's over and you're on your way. But remember to slow down next time so this doesn't happen again. You need a different technique if you've got front wheel drive. In that case, here's how to handle a rear wheel skid. First, as always, stop doing whatever you did to cause the skid, whether it's braking too hard or steering too aggressively. Next, focus on where you want to go and gently press on the gas. Remember you've got front wheel drive and your front wheels are still in contact with the road. Gently pressing the gas will shift the load onto the rear and give you more traction back there. Now, as you gently accelerate, turn the wheel smoothly in the direction you want to go. If you feel a reaction skid, just steer to keep the vehicle headed towards your target. Once the vehicle stabilizes, you should be able to steer normally and the emergency is over.
Learning to recover control in a skid takes practice. Steering too sharply or turning the wheel too far can actually make the situation more dangerous. That's why this is one driving skill you should not practice on your own.
No way. You need an instructor who can show you what to do and help you practice these techniques on a training course.
So far we talked about managing your own speed. But in the real world, you sometimes need to manage the speed of other drivers too, by letting them know what you're doing. Just like you, most other drivers slow down when they see a flashing light ahead. So always remember to use your turn signal. And if you really need to catch their attention, for example, because there's a backup, tap your brakes. You can also signal other drivers to slow down by covering the brake. Just take your foot off the gas and put it on the brake pedal without applying any pressure. Your speed will drop slightly and your brake lights will let other drivers know they should reduce their speed too. Covering the brake also puts you in a perfect position to make a quicker, smoother stop.
One last speed management tip, and it's probably the most important one of all: focus. When you're at the wheel, the faster you're traveling, the more focused you have to be. Here's why. Suppose you take your eyes off the roadway for a split second to check your speed. You see that you're going 60 miles per hour, which is 5 miles per hour under the speed limit for this road, and that's great. But check this out. After you check your speed, it takes time for you to refocus on the road in front of you. And it will take more time for you to react to any hazard you might see there. When you add it all up, that's at least a full second. And at 60 miles per hour, that means you've traveled about 88 feet driving blind. And if the road takes a sudden turn, or if the traffic comes to a sudden stop,
Well, you get the picture.
Focus is the real reason why the best speed management advice for beginning drivers really is to slow down. It takes all the other driving skills we talked about in this video, hazard recognition skills, vehicle handling skills, and space management skills to cope with high-speed driving situations.
so even when you know how to adjust your speed to the road conditions, know how to control the speed of the driver behind you, and know how to react during an emergency, you still need to know the limits of your own driving ability in order to manage speed safely.
You can learn more about speed management at the realworlddriver.com website. And once you studied up, test your knowledge with our online quiz.
So that's it. You're ready to become a safe, real-world driver. Just practice the 4 skill sets we've talked about with a parent or driving instructor, and you'll be on your way to helping reduce the number of teen drivers killed and injured in crashes each year.
But please remember, it can happen to you. Sometime, somewhere, almost every driver is involved in a crash. It happened to me when I was 17 years old.
And it happened to me when I was 16. We survived, and with the driving skills we've talked about, you can too. In fact, there's a good chance you can even drive crash-free.
So, good luck learning to be a better driver, and we'll see you out on that open road.